I am Ajipinto Drame, and this is QTV Midday News coming to you live from our studios on Keraba Avenue, and thanks for joining us. Our top stories. Outgoing U.S. Ambassador to the Gambia, Richard Paschal, has met President Barrow at State House to say farewell. Cabinet ministers on Wednesday appeared before the National Assembly to answer questions on key national issues, including the hike in prices of essential commodities. As part of events marking the opening of the 2022 legal year, the Judiciary of the Gambia on Tuesday began a two-day refresher training on sentencing guidelines for magistrates. In international news, U.S. prosecutors have charged 3 policemen with 8-year-old Fanta Billy's death, dropping a murder case against 2 teenagers who were initially held. And in sports, Gambia international Pamodu Jain has announced his retirement from international football after guiding his country to their debut AFCON, where they reached the quarterfinals. Those were our main headlines. Now the news in detail. Now, outgoing U.S. Ambassador to the Gambia, Richard Paschal, has praised the Banjul-Washington bilateral relations in diverse areas of national development and is hopeful of future cooperation. Aliou Cisse reports.
The Gambia, after nearly 3 years diplomatic assignment, the outgoing U.S. Ambassador to the Gambia, Richard Paschal, on Tuesday met President Barrow to bid farewell. Paschal describes the Gambia and U.S. as partners, friends and allies who can speak openly and candidly on issues of mutual benefit.
I'm fortunate to have a tremendously capable and committed team of Gambians and Americans at the U.S. Embassy seeking to advance to our mutual benefit and the benefit of our people, the Gambian American people, constitution-based, accountable democratic governance that provides government services in the interest of the people. And I think we share that desire, that vision, and we'll continue to work together to that end.
Ambassador Paschal said he is leaving the country with a high sense of optimism, inspired by the passion of Gambian people who press for the completion of promised democratic and economic reform, including justice and accountability. Ambassador Paschal's successor will arrive in the Gambia in a couple of weeks. In a similar engagement, the outgoing ambassador on Wednesday met Vice President Dr. Essa Toure to bid farewell. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Cabinet ministers on Wednesday appeared before the National Assembly to answer to questions on key national issues, one of which is about the hike in prices of essential commodities and the efforts to address the problem. Mobdulami Choi reports.
Cabinet ministers are in attendance at this session of the National Assembly to answer questions from members of the legislature on matters under their official responsibilities. First to appear is the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Mamburin Njai, who answers to a question from the NAM for Combo East, Lamin NF Konta, about hiking prices of essential commodities.
Can the Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs explain to this August Assembly the reason or reasons for the price hike of essential commodities is always blamed on the Trade Ministry, and what is the MPC doing to address this situation?
The price hike is not only a national issue, but a global phenomenon. The increase in the price of essential commodities over the last 2 years reflects the global trend we have seen across all countries due to COVID-19 pandemic, which causes supply chain challenges and increase in freight charges, which are inflationary. Domestic structural challenges such as congestion at the seaport, shortage during the peak of the pandemic, all further fuel inflation. On its part, the government is working on addressing some of the issues which have caused the price hike, which includes port expansion to reduce port congestion and charges. The government and the MPC, that's the Monetary Policy Committee, are monitoring national and global developments and their possible impact on domestic inflation.
Finding a sustainable solution to the skyrocketing prices of essential commodities like food can be part of the solution, given the challenges expressed by the Finance Minister.
I have said here that the transportation costs, freight charges, all of these things, including the port congestions. But we are not just watching. We're doing whatever it takes and necessary to make sure we have the price stability and the availability of goods.
From subsistence to commercial agriculture, and with the right investment and resources, increase in local production can translate into lower prices of food commodities.
Yes, you can say it can be costly, but the intention of government is to make sure that the main essential goods we are self-sufficient. The Ministry of Agriculture is working very hard to make sure rice production, we will be able to meet our demand in the near future, including potatoes, onions, all of these essential goods. It's unfortunate that we are price takers, we don't produce it, so we cannot determine the price.
The United States Department of Agriculture reports that the Gambia imports 50% of its food requirements. The country's annual import of rice amounts to 175,000 tons, approximately 70% of our need. However, amidst an increasing demand, the price for rice continues to shoot up, even though government had lifted duty on the commodity. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
In other news, as part of events marking the opening of the 2022 legal year, the Judiciary of the Gambia on Tuesday began a 2-day refresher training on sentencing guidelines for magistrates. Babukasi has the rest of that story.
The training for the magistrates is in partnership with the Judicial College of England and Wales Commonwealth Magistrates and Judges Association, facilitated by the British High Commission in the Gambia. David Belgrove, the British High Commissioner to the Gambia, said supporting the Gambia's judiciary system is a key part of the Commission's agenda.
Supporting the judiciary is a key part of our country plan in the Gambia, a key part of our work. And we regard that as the judiciary as being incredibly important to consolidating the democratic gains that the Gambia has made in recent years, and we heard more about that on Sunday morning. Because a free, fair, functioning judiciary is a cornerstone to any democracy, and that's why we regard it as being so important. And we saw just in recent elections just how important the judiciary were, and the fact that all participants to the elections had faith in the judiciary, and I think that's testament to the work that you all do.
Dr. Karen Browy, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth Magistrates and Judges Association, expressed delight in helping to equip the country's judicial system.
We are delighted to be working with the Judicial Office and the Judicial College of England and Wales, as well as the Judicial Education and Research Institute of the Gambia and the Judiciary of the Gambia and the Magistracy of the Gambia. It is a delight to be back in Banjul and to be again in the Gambia, and we wish everybody here a very successful training, and as we say, we are learning ourselves about what is going on, and we appreciate the exchanges that we have.
Hassan B. Jallo, the Chief Justice of the Gambia, underscores the importance of the training in the justice system.
The subject the subject of the training is a critical one. Sentencing is a very, very critical part of the criminal justice process. And it's one that interests not just the lawyers, but obviously the victims are interested in seeing how the courts will try to bring justice to those who are aggrieved. The accused or the convict now is obviously very interested because the consequences can be very harsh for him. But also the general public perhaps follows sentencing more than any other part of the process. They keep an eye on the kind of sentences that are being meted out, the reasons that are given, and they make comparisons. It's low, it's high, it's inconsistent. These are the sort of conclusions they can draw. And so it's important, therefore, that those of us who are involved in the process, number one, we are trained to deal with this issue in a very objective and judicious manner.
The training is expected to build the capacity of the magistrates for effective implementation of the law and to strengthen cooperation with stakeholders in the justice process. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
We will go for a short commercial break. Still to come, we have more stories too. Stay tuned.
purpose. Everything I touch turns into light. I am the light at the end of the tunnel, and my technology is the answer. I am the happiness in your life. I keep you connected, and I am Q-Power. I am Q-Cell. I am Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow. Call 111 for more information.
Welcome back. Now, the Ministry of Agriculture on Tuesday signed a $40 million grant with the World Bank to support the Inclusive Resilience Agriculture Value Chain Development Project in the Gambia. Loli M. Kamara attended the signing ceremony and files in this report.
The Inclusive Resilience Agriculture Value Chain Development Project is fully financed by the World Bank and is to be implemented in a 5-year period from 2021 to 2026. The project targets the value chain with higher potential for demand and stronger potential to generate important opportunities for value-added services and employment, focusing on smallholder farmers. Faye Borofis, World Bank Residence Representative, said the project will promote 4 key priority agricultural value chains,
focusing both on market opportunities and also productivity gains that we believe can be recognized and realized in the country in the short to medium term through a combination of what we're calling soft and hard investments, focused on, first of all, improving the business environment for commercial agriculture development. Secondly, building productive and climate resilient agri-food system. Third, we want to mobilize productive private investments along these value chains because we believe in the importance of the private sector in developing the agriculture sector for sustainability. And then finally, we will support project coordination, monitoring and knowledge management as we do in all World Bank projects.
She gave an assurance of the World Bank's continuous support. Ami Fabore, the Minister of Agriculture, said agriculture is the backbone of the country and such projects will boost the agricultural sector.
We have almost 65 to 70% of small-scale farmers in this country, and their life has to be improved. It cannot be improved without financing, without technology, because Gambia, we are blessed with arable land, abundant arable land, with adequate water supply. That's fresh water and underground water. What is lacking is technology. And I know with this support, this $40 million project will improve a lot in the area of technology, farmers accessing arable land and the water to improve production and the productivity.
Mamburenjai, the Minister of Finance representing the President, underscored the importance of agriculture while highlighting the targeted beneficiaries.
You will also be pleased to know that the targeted geographic for this project will include 5 administrative regions as follows: West Coast as Birkama, North Bank Kerawan, Lower River Mantakonko, Central River Janjambure and Upper River Basse, and the 2 municipalities, Banjul and Kanifing municipality, which together comprises 35 of the 43 national districts. The key project beneficiaries are small and medium-scale farmers and their organizations, agriculture SMEs, and other private actors in the target value chains, traders, processors, exporters, and service providers, with a focus on agribusiness led by youth and women.
It is hoped that the implementation of this project will improve connectivity and market access, lead to increased sales and competition, productivity, resilience, and private sector investment in commercial agriculture. For QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
The Ministry of Health, with support from World Bank and partners, on Wednesday inaugurated the newly built Ultra Cold Store, which will store over 100,000 doses of Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine due to arrive in the country. Loli M. Kamara again.
Good storage facilities play a critical role in vaccine preservation because once a vaccine loses its strength, it cannot be restored. Thus, the need for better storage facilities. At the launch, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmadu Lamin Samate, thanked partners for their contribution towards the facility.
This ultra-cold refrigeration system, we all know, is going to enable us bring in vaccines that we were not able to bring in initially, and probably losing the benefits or not benefiting from the benefits of those vaccines. But now it increases our scope, and the Gambians will potentially, inshallah, in reality, benefit from the vaccines like Pfizer, Moderna, and so on.
Faye Borofis, the World Bank country rep, says having the ultra-cold storage facility shows the positive aspect of COVID-19, even though there are negative aspects of the virus. So far, the World Bank has supported the Gambia's health sector with more than $90 million in construction, renovation and equipment, amongst others. Gordon Jonathan Lewis, the UNICEF country representative, underscores the importance of the ultra-cold storage, adding that with the availability of the vaccines, more are expected in the country soon.
We will be in a position to receive the country's first ever consignment of Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines, which have been donated by the United States government to the COVAX mechanism. And it's also a critical step to ensure the safe storage of even an ever greater quantity of vaccines. We're talking about a combined 2.1 thousand cubic liters of space that at any point in time can store upwards of 1.7 million vaccines.
Desta Tironi, the WHO country representative, said now that the equipment is available, this will give them an opportunity to get all the varieties of vaccines. However, he said that can only be achievable if they are able to get everyone vaccinated. Modunjai, the Director of Health Promotion, highlighted the progress in their drive to get 60% of the population vaccinated.
All the vaccines we have been given, they are meant to protect the population. So we want the people to understand that whatever the ministry provide and bring is for the interest of the Gambian people. So therefore we want people to take the vaccine, let them not think negatively about the vaccine. People who have taken the vaccine, they are still alive and they are still running, they are moving up and down their business. So the issue of vaccine hesitancy, fake news, misinformation and disinformation is something that has definitely affected our intervention. And I want to appeal to the public that the vaccines are safe and they are effective and people need to come out in their numbers to take it. We are currently about 20% with our coverage. It is still low. We are targeting 60%.
Officials used the occasion to renew the appeal to the public to be vaccinated to help cope the spread of the COVID-19. For QTV News, Lolly M. Camara.
Now into international news. 8-year-old Fantability was killed after officers opened fire on a vehicle outside of a high school football game near Philadelphia on 27 August 2021 after hearing gunshots a block away. The police thought armed suspects were in the vehicle, but it was Fantability, whose parents moved from Liberia to settle in the U.S. Our U.S. correspondent, Howard Cisse, spoke to one of Fanta's relatives and the district attorney. Here is her report.
Following a football game in Pennsylvania, police gunfire left an 8-year-old dead. According to the district attorney, on August 27, just one block from the Academic Park High School football field, 2 teenagers were involved in a verbal altercation that escalated into gunfire.
Fanta and other people were in my aunt. They were leaving, like they were in the gate, leaving the football field. Mind you, the shooting happened a block away.
3 officers stationed near the field's exit opened fire after a car turned onto the street, hitting bystanders.
At the wrong target, in the wrong direction, and into a group of people.
The 3 officers fired several rounds, striking 4 victims, including Fantability.
They just heard shots and they assumed that that's where the shots were coming from.
Fanta was a girl who lights up every room she steps in.
Fanta was a beautiful little girl. She was my little cousin. She just bright the room with her beautiful smile and just full of energy. She wanted to be a lot of things. And she had so much dreams and goals, and she and her moms were so close. She was in the 2nd grade. She just loved to play outside and just wanted to be a kid.
Her life cut short far too soon, yet her grieving family managed to find comfort in her TikTok videos.
She's the queen of TikTok. We still have TikTok videos of her and everything.
Fanta's big sister was one of the victims that was injured.
Adrian, her big sister, because she also got shot. Alhamdulillah, she's getting better and everything. Yeah.
Teenagers who started the initial gunshots were charged with murder. Crowds took it to the streets in Delaware County to demand release of the teenagers. According to the DA's office, both teenagers' murder charges were later dropped since Sharon Hill officers fired the deadly rounds.
Like, our focus wasn't on the teenager. Our focus was on who killed Fanta.
According to the DA's office, the 3 officers were charged with 12 counts of manslaughter and reckless endangerment.
Like, this shows that there's still hope in the justice system. I don't wish this on anybody, bro.
Definitely.
I really don't.
Thanks the public for their efforts in the fight for justice.
My family's doing well, and thank you guys for all your prayers and making sure my family gets justice.
Reporting for QTV News, I am Hawa Sise.
Now onto sports news. Gambia international Pa Modou Diagne has announced his retirement from international football after guiding his country to their debut AFCON, where they reached the quarterfinals. He had a chat with our sports reporter Mobudu Gajaga, and this is the report.
With the captain's armband worn for the last time, Pa Modou Diagne says he has finally retired from playing international football. He guided the Scorpions to their first AFCON appearance, reaching the quarterfinals. In an interview with QTV, Diagne says it was a difficult decision, but he decided to retire from playing for the national team.
If they give you everything, you don't have to take everything, So for me, I feel that, it's time for me, to leave, and support them, behind, but yeah, now I'm here. It was great for me. It was great, and I think it's the best decision I made,
Diagne hung up his boots for active international football duties, but says he will still continue playing for his Swiss club side, Daitikon. Despite his retirement, Pa Modou says he can give back to the national team in many ways.
Yeah, I think I can give a lot. I already started my coaching course, and then my wife also, she's doing international, is doing sport law, and then there are so many things that I can, we will do together, me and my wife, and that we can help also. And I'm willing, to help and work with the federation and the government, any case that I can help the national team.
Pa Modou Diagne has 37 caps for the Gambia at senior level, scoring 2 goals against Guinea and DR Congo in AFCON qualifiers. He was part of the Gambia team that won the 2005 Under-17 tournament on home soil and played in the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Peru the same year. He was also part of the Gambia Under-20 team that won bronze in 2007 at the African Youth Championship in Congo-Brazzaville and featured for the team in the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Canada, also in 2007. Diagne reflected on some of his memorable moments playing for the Gambia.
First time, playing for the senior national team, I will never forget this day playing against Algeria, my first game, and then I was named man of the match after the game, playing against Ziani, this time he was in Marseille, so these are memories that I will never forget, qualifying, for the African Under-20, going to Peru, World Cup, Canada. These are things that you will never forget. But the most memorable one is the recent one, taking the Gambia, for the first time, in AFCON.
At club level, Pa Modou Diagne played for Gambia Ports Authority before turning professional in 2008, playing for FC Ville in Switzerland. He later joined FC St. Gallen, Sion and FC Zurich. Outside football, Diagne and his wife partnered to establish the Nda Mariam Diagne Foundation, supporting the health sector, focusing on maternal mortality and developing youth through football clinics and promoting the idea of scholar athletes. Pa Modou Diagne, though retired from international football, will be remembered for his selfless service to his country through football. He is the first captain to guide the Gambia to their maiden AFCON, where they reached the quarterfinals. Mobudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Well, before we end, here's a recap of our main headlines. Outgoing U.S. Ambassador to the Gambia, Richard Paschal, has met President Barrow at State House as he ends his tour of duty. cabinet ministers on Wednesday appeared before the National Assembly to answer questions on key national issues, including the hike in prices of essential commodities. As part of events marking the opening of the 2022 legal year, the Judiciary of the Gambia on Tuesday began a two-day refresher training on sentencing guidelines for magistrates. In international news, U.S. prosecutors have charged 3 policemen with 8-year-old Fantability's death, dropping a murder case against 2 teenagers who were initially held. And in sports, Gambia international Pamodu Jain has announced his retirement from international football after guiding his country to their debut AFCON, reaching the quarterfinals. Well, that's it from me in today's Midday News. Thank you for watching.